Emily, why don't you kind of like introduce something?
Okay. We are the Reporting for Print and Reporting for Broadcast class here at Bob Jones University, and we have put together a multimedia project. This is combining the print side as well as broadcasting together. We are two classes combined for a reporter roundtable discussion just about some of the topics, why we chose what we chose, some challenges that we face. So we're going to start off with Benjamin Jeffers, who is going to tell us why exactly we chose the topic that we did.
Yes, when Ms. Solomon approached us about our multimedia project, she told us to come up with some ideas to brainstorm, and we went through several different ones, and we finally settled on the topic of biking in Greenville. Since Greenville is such an active type city, they've called themselves Bikeville. They're pushing for more biking. We figured in order to capture that spirit, we wanted to do like a multimedia project with video and with print and with pictures.
And I just think that this topic is so relevant right now, especially with the whole Go Green movement. We really see a lot more initiatives of saving the environment, cutting down on emissions from cars. But then Greenville is a pretty expansive community, so there's lots of room for, hey, if you want to get somewhere quicker but you don't want to use a car, why not grab a bike? Yeah. That's something that I kind of found a lot of people were very interested in, is getting around faster without having to use a car. And Greenville is also busy, so parking sometimes can become an issue. So I feel like it's a very relevant topic for the people here in Greenville.
I think the City Council just voted to encourage and promote May is National Bike Month, so our articles just came out at the right time.
Perfect. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how it all kind of comes together. But we didn't just talk about biking in Greenville, we also went out further from Greenville, Travelers Rest. We focused on a couple trails that kind of go throughout the upstate. Swamp Rabbit is one of them.
What's nice about the Swamp Rabbit Trail is it actually connects just all those different places, connects Travelers Rest with downtown and then goes to Lake Conassee actually, which is a great place to bike as well.
I know they kept kind of talking about, when I talked to people about it, they kept referring to Travelers Rest and the Swamp Rabbit Trail. So apparently this is a really big deal for them, especially having it paved. So it was definitely something that I think the unique location about Greenville. One of the things that made the story I think interesting to people is the fact that they were able to. Greenville's ideally suited for bikers of any stripe. Like you got street bikers, mountain bikers. The mountains are just not even maybe a 20-minute drive away or something like that. So it's definitely something I think there's a considerable amount of interest in it within the community and even within the state, even though the state by and large doesn't necessarily endorse biking. But as you said, Greenville is very, very interested in promoting this sort of thing.
Yeah, something that connects everybody in Greenville, I think.
I'd agree with that. But then not only did we find some of these really interesting facts out, there were some challenges that I feel like we all faced kind of coming into this from the print side, broadcast side. Asher, what were some of the challenges that you particularly thought, especially from the print side of things?
Print side, just especially finding people who were willing to talk. It was just hard getting those initial interviews. After getting them, I found that the bikers in Greenville are very, very helpful. The bike shop knew a lot. The one sales associate I talked to knew so much, it just wowed me. And the Greenville Spinners, the local bicycle club in Greenville, I was also amazed at how friendly they were. The president spoke with me, and he made sure that all of his members responded to me quickly, and it was just amazing how friendly the entire community was. But after you get past those initial challenges of finding the right people, things went kind of smoothly. So
yeah, that's something I found was whenever I was trying to find people, I didn't really know who to contact at first, but once you found somebody, they were really helpful, and they were passionate about this, and you could tell, and they wanted to give you so much information about it. They're like, here, this is something, and then when you ask for other people to contact, they'd be like, oh yeah, you should contact this guy because he knows this part of biking. And so it was nice, and it was hard with the deadline crunch because you're like, I have all these people I want to contact, but you have to select which ones you want to do too.
That's what I kind of found too. I did a reporter package on the rent-a-bikes here in Greenville, which is just started out in March, but it's kind of become this pretty booming business now. There's these stations all around the Greenville area that you can rent a bike essentially for a day, or you can have a membership. But like we were saying earlier, I think it really just connects people. But then some of the challenges, I guess from the video side of things was just, okay, if somebody's on a bike and they're going and they're chugging along on that bike, I mean, how do you run after them? Hey, I want an interview, please stop. I mean, you can't really do that. So I guess just kind of the word on the street type thing, you just kind of have to feel out the different people and just kind of get a feel for what they're really viewing it as. But everybody I found was pretty positive. That after going out even a second time, just finding people who maybe didn't know about the Rent-A-Bike yet or hadn't been at the Rent-A-Bike or different things like that, but they really just thought that it was a great idea and were very, very excited about it. So
it's one of those things that what you mentioned, Asher, about finding the right people. And a couple things that I realized was, one, the right people often are, you can find them all in the one same place. Like there's a lot of biking shops. And the one I went to, Bike Street America, I think it was, the guy who I was talking to was a bike mechanic, but he was also a mountain biker. So he kind of had both perspectives from his personal experience as well as his experience just as people coming through. So it's kind of all things all rolled up to one. It was a really good interview, really, really informative. Another thing I think that I found was like with this story, most stories you can kind of, by and large, find people, depending on what your topic is, things that you ordinarily wouldn't think about aren't really a big deal. But in this case, if you're looking for a biker, or you like to find a biker out and about, you have to consider weather. I remember one day I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go out and get this interview, and I was going to think about, I was like, I'm going to find a biker. I'm going to, it's kind of a nice day, and then next thing I know, it's dumping rain, and I'm going, I'm not going to find anybody out in the rain, am I? So it was one of those, an eye-opening experience just to realize that you couldn't just get your interview when you wanted it. You had to take some other factors into consideration. So it was I guess that would be one of the challenges, was you couldn't just, that sort of thing did matter. So.
One other challenge that I did come across is that as helpful as all the bikers in Greenville were with giving me information, is if I did not word the question in a unique way, they weren't that interested in answering it, because they've answered these standard questions so many times that they kind of just go through it and half think about it and half not give you the right answers. But if you can really change the question around and you can make it unique, even if it's getting the same information from them, they like just having to think about their answers and not just give out the same standard ones that they've been giving to everybody who's asked them these questions.
something that I found was really neat about this project, though, and just really getting into a biking community and learning kind of about these subcultures, I guess, that are in the Greenville area. There's just, the people are, like we were saying, I mean, friendly. They love biking. They love what they do. If they're, you know, the passionate bikers, of owners of the bike shop or different things like that. So it's just really neat to see that kind of side of Greenville come out. I don't know about if you guys share the same sentiments or not, but.
Where did you go, Jeremy?
I went to Sunrift Adventures in Travelers Rest, which was pretty good. They knew a lot about just everything there. It was just kind of like the central hub for just where all the trails and everything go out. So it was a really good spot to just kind of just figure out basically where everything was at and just, you know, where to begin.
Yeah, there's so many bike shops in Greenville,
Yeah.
which is crazy because you have like the one for women downtown, you have a couple on Wade Hampton, so it's just, and like you said, each one's like a little niche for each thing. I think Hincapie has a lot to do with that as well here, too.
Okay, that's pretty good, y'all. And how do you think you want to wrap this up? What final word do you want to leave with everybody on this? I don't know, like something specific you learned, or something you hope that people will take away from this, or how is this project different from just a broadcast topic, just a print topic? Maybe something like that, because this is kind of a culminating project and maybe something that you'll want to do more of in the future where you're collaborating. So because of where journalism is headed, that kind of thing. So maybe just a little bit of kind of finale stuff so that it sounds like we're ending on a good note, okay?
I'm really happy, for one, that this project was required for us. Because future journalism obviously headed towards the multimedia journalist, backpack journalism. You have to know how to do everything. You have to be able to get something on the web and then also put it into a print story, and then also maybe turn it into a video story, even if you just have still photographs or if you take some video from your iPhone. So just everything coming together and just knowing how to work with different aspects of each just really solidified everything in my mind. I thought it was a great project.
Yeah, just want to thank you all for checking out this multimedia project. Everything online is going for video as well as print and pictures, so this was a great experience for us. I know, me personally, knowing to word things so that it would connect with another story in the multimedia project, and it was a great experience.